Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. There we go. Yeah. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Superhero Homies. What's up?
What's going on, homies?
Yeah, hopefully all you guys are doing good out there. Get ready to sit with another introduction with us.
Absolutely.
That's a dadgum tootlalooly. Tootlalooly. There you go. Words are fun.
All right. Ready for this?
Oh, yeah. I'm good to go.
Welcome back to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I am here with the homie Kevin.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how you guys all doing out there? Welcome back, and thank you for listening to another episode.
Welcome back, guys.
Yeah, we're here again. We're doing it.
Absolutely. And, as always, it's kind of become a tagline at this point, but there's a very fun and exciting episode we have planned for you guys today. And hopefully you guys are looking forward to it as much as we are, as much as we've enjoyed the quote-unquote research for this episode.
The prep work. Indeed.
Right.
And as good of a tagline as that is, it is always especially necessary. It's one of the best ones you could drop. For this particular subject, though, you're right. This was near and dear to both of our hearts. Mm-hmm. This was especially fun. It was less research, like putting on lab coats and getting our thinking caps on. It was more like, your boys getting giddy and sitting back and watching some awesome content and getting ready to talk about it with you.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
So you guys may or may not be aware, but there is like a global pandemic, which is permitting people, or not restricting them, but
wait, what?
Going outside is a thing of the past. Okay, no more. We are all now as one Caliban. All right, there is no more sunlight for us. What I'm getting at,
you'll get the reference before the end of this episode.
You may already get the reference.
Some of you probably will, actually. Congrats if you do. For those of you who are confused, that's okay.
But one thing about this whole quarantining, so to speak, is that obviously there's been a lot more movie watching and television watching. And we figure, why not put that to the test and why not actually take advantage of that for the podcast? We have watched the entirety of the Wolverine Trilogy.
Amen. We sat down and did what we like to call a Wolverinathon. Oh, yes. Coined it here first. Yeah, the Wolverinathon, the superhero homies.
Yeah.
You came up. No. I'm not saying
this
I
is what
took
we're
the
doing
word.
Now.
I'm not saying I took the fucking word.
You know what? I'm leaving.
No, what?
You record this by yourself. I'm done.
That'd be a boring episode. But you guys see me like jump back and forth between both mics. No, brother. I'd never take that from you. That was a great word. Call Oxford Dictionary because they need a new word in the dictionary. And it is Wolverinathon. The superhero homies, however, are coining that shit.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys. So, and it is exactly what it sounds like. Yep. We have watched Wolverine Origins, the Wolverine, and Logan. Mm-hmm. And we are here today to not so much review them, but to kind of give our commentary on these movies and tell you guys kind of what we think about them as the series evolved.
For those of you who are curious, no, we did not do that all in a 24-hour period. Luckily, we loved ourselves and gave us a 48-hour period,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is kind of weird. There are people out there who take a lot of joy, who really enjoy watching the entirety of Lord of the Rings extended cut in one go, or all of the Star Wars films in one go. And I'm like that. I don't mind breaking these things down and watching them, but man, all at one time, hell, even all the Avengers movies, I can't watch them all, back to back.
Yeah, why is Lord of the Rings always one of the first examples that comes to mind? Because that was the first thing I thought of too.
Because they're kind of the kings of that, if you're going to watch a trilogy.
They were the fathers of binge watching.
Yeah. I mean, because if you think about it, as far as movie trilogies go, there's so many excellent examples of tremendous movie trilogies. I guess Lord of the Rings is one where, unlike most movie trilogies, there is no drop-off point. They just kind of maintain a level of excellence all throughout.
Yeah. That's a good point. Plus, they're impressively long movies. And so to say you sat down and watched all three in one setting is kind of like, oh, check out this guy. But dude, so we sat down, we watched all of them. And here we are, ready to talk about them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We got plenty of dadgum Wolverine and Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart up in there, we're good to go now. Yeah.
So let me start by asking you this question, my brother. How did watching all three films in such a short time span alter your experience with these movies?
So it was actually kind of fun. It was kind of pleasant. I'll start off by sharing a joke with all the homies that I've already told you now. So, fake laugh at it, please. But it was like climbing the ladder, because we started with Origins, which, as we all know, is kind of like, oh, okay, you're watching that again? Interesting choice. Okay. And then we moved up to the Wolverine. And then people's reactions like, oh, cool. That was a fun movie. Cool. Why? Okay, that's dope. Fun. And then we moved up to Logan, and everyone else is like, oh, how many times have you seen it now? 10, 12? What's up? And so it was like climbing the ladder.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun, actually, just to kind of watch that. One thing that was impressive about the experience of sitting down and watching them back to back to back is that there's no room to miss anything. There's no room to miss a Wolverine Easter egg or a continuation Easter egg, something that was reflective of the movie past being shared in this present film, something that that they were kind enough to carry over just for the sake of nerdom, just like the little things. And there's some examples, obviously, that we have prepared for that, but that was kind of more like the fun meat of it,
Yeah.
I didn't notice a whole plethora of different things or things I never noticed prior.
Right.
There are things, of course, I did notice more acutely this time. However, overall, the experience was more highlighted because I watched them all back to back to back. It was more fun to do it this way than to do it the natural way, which was, oh, theaters years later. Oh, the theaters again years later.
Right.
Oh, look, Logan in theaters. Yeah. So, how about you, man? What were your thoughts on that?
I think for me, watching all three of these movies basically concurrently, in such a short time span, regardless of how kind of ridiculous X-Men Origins can be, that movie in particular, one thing that all three of these movies kind of highlighted was just kind of the trajectory of Logan's life, and more specifically, just how tragic a figure he is, and how for him there's always like this looming dark cloud over him. And this is just something that I'm pulling from the movies, not even like from the comics. But it's like in the movies, you just kind of feel this looming dark cloud over Logan, and how he's always just this sad and then like distraught and infuriated figure who can never really get things the way that he would personally want them to.
Or even the way he intended to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, It's just, it gets to a point though with him where it's like you see this tragic figure and you're like, okay, well, he's gonna get his comeuppance, he's gonna finally get what's his. But then you realize that throughout the course of these movies, what Logan wants and what he thinks he deserves are two entirely different things, and then they kind of come at a meeting point.
Like what he wants and what he didn't know he needed.
Yeah. And so that's just kind of some things that were highlighted for me, which is kind of how they've taken care of the character. That's not to say anything about the stories that were told in these movies, but the character himself has always been pretty well taken care of, especially in his solo outings. So but yeah, man. With that being said, I guess we can go ahead and let's talk about some thoughts on X-Men Origins, man.
So Origins. Obviously, guys, we watched them in order. So we did Origins first. Wow. Yeah.
What was the director's name on this one again?
This was Gavin Hood, if I'm not mistaken there. I had to look that up. I'll happily look it up just to verify, but as of now, I'm super confident in that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Pretty sure that's him. Yes. X-Men Origins, man. So this was one that came out back in like 2009. So it's 11 years ago now. And I think that this really was like the Transformers of Marvel movies.
Which that's super ironic. Considering anyways, but joke to be made later. But explain what you mean by that. The Transformers, like Michael Bay just peeked an eyebrow at that statement. What's going on in your mind?
Yeah. So keep in mind, guys, I've only seen the first 3 Transformers films, so that's what I'm basing this assessment off of. But
how many are there now? 4 or 5?
There's 6.
No, you said the wrong answer. That's not true.
But
I don't know if it is or not.
What I mean by that, is with the Transformers movies, you know what you're gonna get. Like there, as far as like sense mate goes, there won't be a whole lot of it. There will be probably some plot conundrums and things that don't quite match up. But at the same time, you're gonna watch something that is extremely entertaining. And now, where my metaphor falls apart is that Transformers films are visually stunning. I mean, Michael Bay was ahead of his fucking time with Transformers films as far as filmmaking goes and visual effects go. Unfortunately, that doesn't quite apply to Logan. It's just the negative parts of the metaphor that apply to Logan. See, it's still a fun movie. It is. It's extremely fun. You have to turn your brain off, and you have to turn your brain off and know what you're getting. But at the same time, it doesn't make any sense.
To the homies out there who have been longtime listeners and longtime fans, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are probably rolling your eyes now because anytime we say it was a fun movie, you know what else we're saying there. But nevertheless, this was a fun movie. I especially liked the first act. It was a lot of fun doing that. Just kind of reminiscing on some of the positives of the movie real quick. I was a fan of the intro scene. Now, story-wise, it was a little funky, but I loved the visual aspect of that. That was really cool, reliving the years that our boy James and Victor had been alive and kicking ass together. That's really cool. I dug that. Plus, it was the best daggum Sabretooth we've gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not to say anything about the Sabretooth in
X1. No, yeah.
It's just he didn't really get a whole lot.
He looked like a comic book character.
Yeah.
But no, he was kind of a hench.
Yeah.
A goon. Yeah.
He was a goon. And with X-Men Origins, I do agree. Like the entire, I would say, like the first 15 minutes were fantastic, and like almost to the point where it makes you upset because you're like, no, I thought this was going to be a good movie.
It quickly goes that route.
Right. It's like, wait a minute.
Like, wait.
Is this the same? Like, did the same guy who made the first 15 minutes make the rest of this? Like, this doesn't. What happened?
Who wrote the first 15 for you? Whose paper did you cheat on? Yeah. Because that's what it feels like. Because as the movie progresses, it's like a steady flight. Everything's going great. Weather's nominal. You got high altitude. Wingspan is healthy, and everybody's what the fuck does that mean? Wingspan is healthy, but everything's great to go, and you're just flying. And then all of a sudden, something's going out, and it's not the engine yet. It's just like, we're getting some sputters or some turbulence. No. That's the term. And then eventually, an engine fucking goes out, and then the back of your plane falls off.
The entire back of the plane just falls off.
The entire fucking plane just goes down at that point. There's so many things that just like. I don't know, man. It's like they had a great thing going, and then they just fucked it up bad, dude. And they didn't stop fucking it up. That's kind of like what happens when you're watching Origins. It's a fun train wreck. Yeah,
it is, because it's not like the. I think ultimately, at least for me, this movie would be less painful once again if the visuals were good. And we'll get into that later for sure.
No, let's go ahead and get into that now, brother. Yeah, because Origins was one of the gravest sins, and I don't think everyone understands quite the example that you're talking about, or at least the examples. There's a lot.
There's plenty. Truth be told, it's like I don't know what the budget for this movie was. I mean, but for Wolverine to be one of like the supreme money makers over at Fox, you would think that they would have a pretty decent budget.
Well, I'm going to look it up real quick.
But like just the visual effects, whether it be a CG helicopter flying on an obviously fake backdrop, or whether it be Wolverine's claws that just looked horrendous, whether it be Charles Xavier's face at the end. God damn, what happened?
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, guys, if you have to like take mental notes of what we're talking about when it comes to the visuals here, the CG was atrocious. It was bad. Like it looked like something from a bad music video in like the 90s, which is saying something because this movie came out in 2009. But to answer your question, the budget was 150 mil.
That's
yeah.
With that kind of budget, you should have done way better than
And
that.
they doubled their money.
Oh yeah,
they doubled the money, and then a little bit more, and that was it. Yeah. Also, real quick, help me out here. David Benioff, was that one of the Davids for Game of Thrones? I thought so.
He co-wrote the movie. Yeah.
Wow.
Huh. And like this was one of those little facts that didn't really come about until after the last season of Game of Thrones, and then people were like, "You guys know that he wrote this movie?"
Fuck, man. Did he read the comic book?
Did he read A Song of Ice and Fire? Like, who knows?
He didn't do that. I guarantee you that shit.
But no, so like the CG in it's just not good, and it's to the point where it's distracting, and that's kind of a cardinal sin because just going back to Transformers, when I see Optimus Prime, plow through a building or something like that,
it looked great.
It looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
It looks like
that building died.
It looks like the building died, and it looks like a fucking robot car plummeted through it. And it's like, yeah, I buy this because I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
When you see Logan pop his adamantium claws for the first time, you're like, oh, did they just not finish this?
So guys, one of the things that Q was talking about here, one of the funniest scenes in Origins, and I implore you even, please look it up on YouTube after you're done watching us on YouTube. By the way, to those listening, we're on YouTube. Did I say that enough? But yeah, you can look it up and actually watch the scene where he's popping the claws in the bathroom, in the barn house over in Canada. Pops the claws and he's kind of like inspecting them as adamantium claws for the first time. It looks so bad. The CG work for the claws is just complete garbage. Mm-hmm. They're sparking some fucking how, like they're electrified or something. Right, and it's just
they're reverbing off of each other like it's fucking vibranium. Like the bounce back from them is really strange.
Yeah, it's really bad. I don't know if there is fault to give to that, but there has to be somewhere. There was someone who said, "Hey, that's a great idea. Oh, that's fine. We'll let that's great enough CG. We'll let that fly." Now it's actually one of the prime examples of bad CGs in modern movies. Yeah.
And like the worst part of it all is that it's not like this is the first time that we've seen Wolverine's claws. This is the fourth. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is the fourth fucking time that we've seen Wolverine's claws. Yeah. And they've never looked this bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's understandable. You want to CG them coming out of his hands. Okay. But once they're extended, why not just take a cue from the older movies? Oh, we've stopped.
Fuck. Hey YouTube, what's going on? So as you guys know, every now and then we have these technical issues. So you get to listen.
Okay, this is the fourth fucking time. It's the fourth fucking time.
Fourth fucking time. The computer got mad at that. Okay, now wait a minute.
He was like, I agree. It's the fourth fucking time.
Yeah. Don't you YouTubers love the extra little snippets, the filibustering you guys get at these tech issues?
The fourth fucking time that we seen Wolverine's claws. It's not the first time. And it's like, I understand that you have to CG the claws coming from his hands, but once they're fully extended, you can just have Hugh holding the claws.
Yeah.
And that way they look real because they are real.
They are fucking real. Yeah. And that's why in the next movie, The Wolverine, they look so much better because more often than not, when the claws were out, he was actually using a physical prop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's great. It looked phenomenally better. Mm-hmm. So
and like
sin number one.
Yeah. And I think it's also just the problem of you can't have that kind of shot with fully CG claws and they're still. So like when he still isn't not moving. So like when he's fighting, like they're flurrying and you can't keep up with them. So CG away because you don't want the fucking stuntman to get pegged with the fucking metal.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You use the foam or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean
the green thing. Yeah.
You can just CG those completely if you want to. Just have them stand a certain distance. And I mean, yeah.
We work on set.
Yeah.
But yeah. No. You're right, dude. That was an atrocious example. And dude, let's talk about Charles Xavier. I forgot how bad he looked.
Dude, it was awful.
It was so bad. Like the voice was there. It didn't not sound like Patrick Stewart. It was his voice.
Yeah.
But the look of the body that they got to do all that was like the face felt very artificial.
Ooh,
You know,
yeah,
just watching it, you could see something wrong. Like your
Mhm.
human brain would look at that and think that's not a human face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's also funny to think in retrospect, like James McAvoy as Charles Xavier at this time frame looked nothing like that.
Yep.
But that's just like a fun kind of nitpick at the X-Men movie verse.
Yeah.
But no, Charles's face, man, looked horrendous. If I were the kids flying onto the plane, I would say I'm going to take my chances with Weapon Plus. Like,
damn. Ooh, I don't know about him.
Yeah,
he looks something.
No.
So we're talking, of course, about one of the ending scenes where all the kids are finally escaping the facility by the blind Cyclops at this point, the young child Cyclops, and there's this man in an overcoat and a helicopter. I don't know how he's going to fit 15, 20 plus kids onto this chopper, but whatever. And then he's standing there and he's kind of like introducing himself. Hi, I'm Charles Xavier, you know, in cool Patrick Stewart voice.
Yeah.
But the way he's looking when he stands there in the brown overcoat, that's the scene we're talking about. It is bad.
It is. And this is also just another, I mean, like we could literally spend an entire series of episodes talking about the continuity issues with the X-Men movies.
Oh, yeah.
But like this is literally
Actually, that's a fun idea.
But like this scene right here this movie is literally them stepping on their own dick as far as the continuity goes. Because first of all,
you said that at the wrong time. Like I was drinking kombucha at that time. It's just like, oh gosh. I mean, don't laugh.
It's like you have all these students, and like you mentioned during our viewing, they all can't fit on the helicopter.
Yeah.
And by the way, like it's clearly a backdrop. Like there is no helicopter.
It looks so.
There is no.
And when the children are running towards it, that looks so displacing. Like literally, it is jarring, dude. It is so bad, man.
Yeah. And then you have the conundrum of, okay, so you guys are purposely writing in that in this prequel movie, all of these mutants get on this helicopter and fly back to the mansion, and we only see one of them in a future movie, that one being Cyclops. What the fuck happened here?
What happened to Emma, man? I mean, she's a big deal. She's a pretty big X-Men, but
yeah. And
I'm pretty sure one of them was supposed to be Quicksilver.
It kind of seemed that way.
One of the children
who was running,
he was hung up and he was like reviving way too fast. And
the thing that really made me think that was that he also had the white hair too.
Yep.
Yeah. So
they were strange. Easter egg children more than they were characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is upsetting. Yeah.
But also, I guess if I had to think about like some good things about this movie, because there are some good notes on this movie. Liv Schreiber as Sabretooth is definitely a highlight.
You read my mind, brother. I was gonna say Victor, dude. Daggum, he was dope. Yeah, the Sabretooth in this movie was awesome. And then daggum, Liv Schreiber and Hugh Jackman had such great on-camera chemistry, dude.
They're good friends.
They are. Yeah, it was in fact Hugh Jackman's suggestion that Liv get the part, and he did.
Yeah,
and I was super happy to see the product of that, dude, because they were awesome. One of the best scenes was the bar fight.
Oh yeah,
the bar fight in the rain at the lumberjack facility. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I think that with the exception of the first 10-15 minutes, that was the best part of the movie. It's the bar fight between those two.
Yeah.
But I do want to give the movie props also in another area, and that is, we keep speaking about how good the opening of this film was when we see young, sickly Logan, at a bedside, and his father's there and Victor's there, and the thing about that is where I have to give the writers props on this was that at the time that this movie was being made, it was kind of brought to Marvel's attention that we don't really have a solidified origin for Wolverine. And so this is when that Wolverine miniseries was released that really defined his true origin. So it came out around the same time as the movie to kind of also give the movie a little bit of leeway as to what they can use for his actual plot. And that's why it's so close, because if you think about it, that is the most canonically kind of accurate portion of the movie is that opening where you see young sickly Logan And they replaced the character Dog Logan with Sabretooth. People have speculated for years Dog Logan is Sabretooth. We still don't know.
Right.
But and they take the character Rose out of it completely. But there were still a lot of really cool things about that they just took directly from the comics.
Yeah.
That was kind of made because they realized this origin movie was coming out.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool stuff.
That is cool. Yeah. Another good thing about the movie, real quick. Let's talk about Gambit. Let's talk about Taylor Kitsch, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot that he was even in the fucking movie. To be fair, okay. I'm throwing my hands in there. I forgot, but he did really well. Yes. Like now I watched him, and it's like, well, fuck the idea of ever having a potential Channing Tatum movie, and that obviously was flushed down the gullet forever ago. Why did we not give Taylor a call? Let's get Taylor Kitsch back on the line because he was. I liked him.
Oh yeah. He man, like he had a bad go of it, man. Like because it was either right before or right after this, he was in that big high budget Disney movie, John Carter, I think was what it was called. And it was based on like an older IP, older property. But it was about this guy who's like this superhero type guy on this alien planet. And they had a really, really cool and fun looking trailer. I never saw the movie myself. A lot of big action CG. It was a big budget bomb. It tanked at the box office, but he was the star of that. Had that movie succeeded, Taylor Kitsch would have been a superstar now.
I don't remember at all.
Yeah,
what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
what was the movie called?
I'm pretty sure it's called John Carter. And then I think it was shortly after that bombed, he got another break in the role of Gambit, the supporting role. Unfortunately for him, though, this movie wasn't exactly a darling with the critics. Like it didn't do well. I mean, from a monetary standpoint, X-Men Origins did okay, but from like a critic standpoint and like fan enjoyment, it didn't do that well.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, you're right, dude. This John Carter movie actually had a higher budget than Origins did, but it made less money. Yeah. It barely made its own money back. So, in the sense of Hollywood terms, it had a $250 budget, $250 million budget. Let me not forget the right wording here. Just $250. You can make a movie. Here you go.
We can make that movie.
We're going to use iMovie and GarageBand for everything. Final Cut Pro, we ain't buying that. Shit. But no, they made $281 million.
Yeah.
Or $284.1 million. And it's like, that's $284.1 versus $250. You ain't doing much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he kind of had, unfortunately, two kind of catastrophes, not that far apart from each other. And while I'm sure he's still getting work, that's the shitty thing about Hollywood. I don't understand. A movie will bomb and they'll blame it on the star. And I'm like, I don't think that's the problem, guys.
No. Yeah.
You might want to look into your writers and maybe your visual effects department or your director. I mean, but I haven't seen the movie, but I don't think he did a bad job. I don't think he did a bad job in Origins either.
Oh, apparently he was in 21 Bridges.
He was. I forgot about that. Bridges. Yeah.
He also was in True Detective.
Which season?
Let's find out. I don't know. It says since 2014.
That'd be season 2.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. We skipped season 2 because we heard that wasn't as good as season 1.
And season 1 was the poor man is cursed.
Fuck, man. Poor Taylor.
Yeah.
Well, which is a shame because he was a good Gambit.
He was.
I mean, what they told him to do, some of that was really far-fetched, like how he was almost telekinetic with the cards at times, instead of just being able to like supercharge and blow up with cards. That was, more what I wanted. Classic Gambit versus and then just like being able to shoot out all the cards,
I hated the fact that he was the super fucking athlete who could leap tall buildings in a single bound and who could damn near fucking fly with how he jumped. He just did some ridiculous shit in this movie.
Oh, and don't give him a freaking bow staff because he would own that shit, cut a building in half.
He cut like half of a giant column in half with his bow staff. Landed perfectly fine. It was such a weird decision to make. But like
at this point in the movie, that was the least of their problems. At this point in the movie, even he was like looking at the script like, what's going on?
Yeah. And you know,
Joking,
like
I don't know what he did.
To be fair, like this movie, it went through so many different renditions.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, after what Brett Ratner did in that atrocity of a movie X3, it's like, where do you go from here? Literally, like, what can you do?
Yeah.
It took Bryan Singer to come back and retconning some shit,
right,
to kind of make things work again,
and that was clever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got to give some applause there.
Yeah,
yeah.
But shame on Bryan Singer if he is a kid diddler. We don't deal with that shit.
Nah, fuck that. No.
But he made some damn good movies.
Hmm.
But as far as X-Men Origins goes, like there's a reason it's called X-Men Origins, because originally it was going to be a Magneto film. It was going to be centered on.
Didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's really dope.
Mm-hmm.
I still want that movie.
Yeah,
what the fuck are we doing?
That didn't pan out, and eventually, like that idea manifested into X-Men First Class, which came out a few years later. So,
okay. I still want my Magneto Origins movie. I still vote for this hard.
You know, like if I'm at the point now where it's like I think I'm okay, because if I see Magneto surfing the Holocaust one more time, he's going to be in the category with the Waynes and with Uncle Ben. All right. We don't need to see that. We don't got me there. Any of those again.
You got me there. I'll give you that. Because Uncle Ben's just like, all right, let me pick up my script. How many pages do I got? Oh, look, they gave me 3. They gave me 3 fucking pages.
Meanwhile, Thomas and Martha Wayne, they're like, oh, you got 3.
I'm dying. Hot damn, man.
Oh, shit.
Thomas and Martha get an intro sequence.
Right. But, man. Just thinking about this movie, that we also mentioned how the inconsistencies really just kind of wore me down.
So there were a shit ton of them. Let's talk about Wolverines first.
Yeah. So for him, like there were inconsistencies with his powers. For example, somebody would be quote unquote dead, but not really. He couldn't tell, which is strange. There'd be an instance of someone telling the truth or lying, and he could tell you, oh, he's definitely telling the truth. Meanwhile, when someone who's obviously lying, Wolverine doesn't pick up on it. Yeah. And you know, it's like I said to you when we watched the movie. It's like little things like that. They never really make it to my shit list if the movie as a whole is good. But if the movie as a whole has so many problems, then those little things, those little shitty inconveniences rise to the top as well. And so that's why like those things bug me in this movie, because the big things are bad and the little things are bad.
Right. The big things pack they pack on. And so after so many daggone big things, you can't help but to notice all the things. And that's where even the little details come into play, and just like rolling your eyes before the end of the movie, because they've already shat themselves. They've already screwed over their own product, you know? And at this point, what really made me begin to roll my eyes and give up on the movie again was when we got to Logan making it to the barn house, and then the helicopter chase sequence after that. Like that's when my brain started to just unplug and just say, okay, for the podcast, you know?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like that entire notion of it is ridiculous. I also thought, tell me also what you thought like the first time you saw this movie, when he gets the procedure done and they pump him full of adamantium, and it's like a day surgery. Like he gets it, he's okay, and then he leaves. And I'm like, this is really fucking weird.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we've seen other more canonical tellings when he's in that facility for what feels like years, what feels like at least months, dude. Just like with the awesome like semi-tech helmet and the like the monitoring belt and shit, and he's just like more ferocious. He's more of a fucking animal, dude.
Yeah, because they've taken everything except for his base.
Exactly. Yeah, they've computed him, and that is so good.
But that's not what we get here.
No.
Not at
Basically, imagine the cameo shot from Apocalypse. When you see Wolverine there, that's the image we're getting. If you're confused, go look it up. It's worth the time.
It's about the only thing in that movie that's really worth your time.
That was the best 5 minutes of the movie.
It was.
Yes. Because he owned that hallway.
Yeah. That and the post-credit scene, which never came to anything, which was the Mr. Sinister post-credit scene. So,
man.
Anyway,
I don't have enough kombucha for this, dude.
But, another thing with Origins, though, and this is one of the bigger problems with the movie as well, is I can overlook shoddy CG for the most part if you have a solid story.
Yeah.
And the story was on shaky grounds from the get-go.
Yeah.
The entire arc with his girlfriend made zero sense.
No.
I mean, I thought that she was a serviceable character up until you realize she's not fucking dead and she's working with the bad guys, but she's not a bad person. She manipulated Logan, but she still loves him.
No,
all of that should have been eliminated from the movie.
It really should have. If you want a love interest, make it a genuine love interest. Make it genuine. And
have her be dead.
Exactly. Because that's part of Wolverine's backstory. That's what makes him such a hard, thick-skinned badass, is that he's dealt with a lot of tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times in the pages, that's been surfacing as loved ones who have died, loved ones that he's accidentally killed, loved ones that he's had to kill.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been a great fucking start to his literal origin. But alas, here we are talking about the counter.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, there's a lot of that shit. Oh, wait, we can't not talk about
this for last.
Brother, we gotta talk about this shit. Cuckoo Cachoo. Oh gosh. Cuckoo Cachoo. That's no. It's Kuikuwatsu, Logan. No, Cuckoo Cachoo. I said what I said.
Yeah, and that's like,
dude.
So
that was weird.
It was very strange, right? Like the entire concept of shoehorning this story in to make the name Wolverine make more sense.
Right. So real quick, a small synopsis of what the fuck we're talking about, because to some of you out there, we just spoke French. We didn't. It was an old Indian term, Kuikuwatsu. That was the short moon story that was shared by the whatever love interest. What the fuck was her name?
She was a loose adaptation of Silver Fox, I believe.
Okay, wannabe Silver Fox. Oh, she was a Copper Fox. So Copper. I love my job. So Copper Fox, dude. She basically tells him this loving pillow talk story one night in their mountaintop cabin, which basically looked like a hermit's paradise. Mm-hmm. The moon and the wolf were spirits in love with one another, and then something tricked the wolf to go to the real world to get flowers for the moon. But then
once you leave, you can't go back.
Once you leave the spirit world and enter into the physical, you can't go back to the spirit. So now the wolf is on our physical existence, forever howling at the moon because it's howling love things and I want to be back with you. Mm-hmm. And Kuikuwatsu translates to the Wolverine.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's an actual translation or if that's an actual term. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I wrote down the wording Kuikuwatsu and the Cuckoo Cuckoo joke that they wrote later. So
it was kind of a long-winded, nonsensical way to explain how the name Wolverine came about. It wasn't necessary.
It wasn't. I mean, if you're going to do that, there's potential in stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It can be a little ham-fisted. This one was ham and cheese-fisted all the way through. So hold the mustard. Yeah, exactly. And I want mustard. But dude, it was kind of weird. It was bad. It was off-putting in a movie that didn't ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then later on, there's just the other shit that happens. The fake death, I'm not able to tell if you're really dead or alive for some reason because I'm just so emotionally torn. And then the awesome bar fight.
Yeah.
And then the awesome bar fight.
The bar fight was great.
Yeah.
I mean, truth be told, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Something that I think the first two of these movies have in common is they don't know how to wrap up the movies. So remember how in this movie, in Origins, once Wolverine realized that, oh, wait, Victor is working with Stryker, Stryker's working with Silver Fox is still alive, her and Victor are working together, fuck. And then he just kind of like, oh, well, I'm done. He leaves.
Oh, fuck, you're right. We got to talk about that, dude. Fuck, that was stupid of all stupid. So, fucking A, dude. So he gets there in this spirit of revenge, this blood rage, this bloodthirst even, where he's just like, I'm going to fucking kill you, Stryker. And by the way, this is an interesting version of Stryker. He was originally a priest. In one of the movies, he was a military leader. And now this guy is, I don't know what the fuck he is, like a corporate leader of some kind. I don't know.
I think he's still some type of military guy.
Maybe a scientist. I don't know. Whatever the fuck. But he's trying to sell to the military. I know that much. But anywho, he's going there. He arrives, and the Stryker's like in the middle of a procedure with this creature, this pool of things. Ooh. Fucking eyebrows are rolling. But
your eyebrows are rolling.
My eyebrows are rolling. Yeah. We gotta put them back on. But then all of a sudden, like the reveal is here, and the reveal is there for Copper Fox, and all this other shit. I forgot her name was Silver Fox in my brain. I kept calling her Copper Fox. But yeah, dude, and then you're right. He's just like, well, guess I'll walk away.
Yeah.
He's like walking away, like, guess I need to go to Walmart real quick, guy.
Right, pick up some stuff. You're not gonna kill anybody. You're gonna know the fact that the woman who you love literally betrayed you and played you for a fool.
The reason for your revenge, and then she's fucking alive and lying to your ass and used your ass.
Yeah, working with the enemy. You're gonna just ignore all that. You're gonna ignore the fact that Stryker elaborately set all of this up for you to come back and for him to make you a weapon. You ignore the fact that your brother went along with all of this. He didn't kill your girlfriend really, but he killed your friends.
He was in on it. Oh yeah, and he totally killed your friends. Yeah. So I don't know who Riley was supposed to be.
Yeah, me either.
From the pages, that is.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, he kills them. But you're right. He just walks away without.
He also kills John Wraith. Will.i.am. He straight up kills him.
Yeah. Fucking Spectre.
He also says that he killed Fred Dukes. He killed Blob. So, I mean, apparently he killed all of them, and Wolverine's just like, well, so I guess I'll
go make new friends now.
Right.
Yeah.
And
see you on my birthday, Victor. Yeah.
I mean, because essentially, guys, that's what he does. He decides that he's going to leave. But then, right when you think the movie can't get any worse, as soon as you think, Kevin, that
this is the thing we were saving for last. Yeah.
As soon as you think that the plot at least can't go any further off the rails than this. At least they can't victimize any more of my beloved characters.
Brother, this was not even the train. This was a handrail cart that you had to like manually like steer to move it along the train track, like in the Old West. No, now this train cart has somehow found its way into the lake, and you're trying to steer through the water, doing the same thing. You're just sinking further. That's what's happening here.
I want you to think about this, Kevin. There sits somewhere right now a group of executives and producers who think that they're not out of touch.
Oh, wait, a group? How many groups are we allowed to imagine, dude? Because we got to think the same thing for the group that did Green Lantern, for the group that did this bullshit, that it has been made fun of, which has made other movies better for making fun of this shit. Yeah. Of course I'm talking about Deadpool.
Yeah. Do you know how far underneath the rock your head has to be shoved to, even in 2009, not realize the heightened popularity of Deadpool and how much people love and respect that character?
You have to be an executive who is not only not a comic fan, but someone whose head is so far away, whose headspace is non-existent into this fandom, this whole culture that we have as fans and nerds of these topics, that fuck man, it's just so bad. You have to literally live under a boulder for that shit. Yeah, there's not. I mean, I don't know how you get away with that though.
Yeah, right.
It's out there.
How does this get greenlit? Is what I don't understand.
How many voices had to? Okay, excuse me. How many people did this have to pass through to become approved and then finally submitted for actual filming and then made into the film and then said, okay, yeah, no, this looks great. Let's have it run. How many different hands did this pass through?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many hands are red from this mistake?
You're right.
Yeah.
And I mean, Hollywood, they've done it countless times before. They've done it a shit ton of times afterwards. Looking at you, Marvel. The list goes on, and the main reason why Deadpool in this movie is remembered so infamously is because not only did they fuck him up so much, but they severely underestimated the popularity of Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
So, like with all the other characters that they monumentally fucked up, like I love Marvel, but I can admit people don't know him like they know Deadpool. Mm-hmm. Deadpool is people who don't read comics and who have never seen Deadpool live action at this point love Deadpool. That's how exceptional he is.
Yeah. People who don't read Deadpool have Deadpool hoodies and t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People love the idea of Deadpool. Like they love what he stands for, and they love his look. He has a good look.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
This movie literally stripped away everything that makes Deadpool Deadpool. And I don't understand how they got away.
You know, I had to look it up because, homies, you guys all know us. We unfortunately are not very good at leaving Band-Aids on shit. I watched an interview where Skip Woods, one of the screenplay writers for X-Men Origins, went to the defense of Deadpool. After Ryan Reynolds, of course, did Deadpool, his own solo title movie, and where, of course, he made fun of this wannabe fucking Deadpool, X-Men Origins pool, and he just slaughtered it. He just freaking wasted it across the screen, of course. We all saw Deadpool. But then Skip Woods came out in an interview, was talking about, like, no, I don't think it was that bad.
This is what I'm talking about, okay, when I said that they're out of touch, and they don't even know it.
Yeah, they're so fucking out of touch. It's like, did you even, your screenplay writer, literally, okay, you got me thinking about it now, man. One of the things that is forced upon you whenever you're like writing shit in college and whatnot, especially when it comes to things like this, whenever you're going on a, at least in my experience, one of the things that was forced upon me from my professors and whatnot was that if you're going to write about this, you need to research it and know what the fuck you're talking about. You need to sell to me why I need to bother with your take on this, with your opinion, with your retelling, whatever the fuck your paper's purpose is. In this case, this is a professional man who is paid by a Hollywood productions team. Hey, screenplay, write this. We want your help in writing these scenes, this script. Make it happen. Did you not do research?
Right.
Did you not look into this shit? Did you not even Google? Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Come on.
And this is also like symptoms of a bigger problem because that was a screenwriter defending it. And it's like that got past producers, that got past the director. Apparently, from what I can understand, I'm assuming everybody okayed this and thought that, yeah, this is fine.
You're right. Multiple people okayed this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had to have happened. I mean, there's really nothing redeeming about the Deadpool things. I was trying to think about something good about this Deadpool. I mean,
he has katanas shoved in his arms. Katanas longer than his forearms shoved into his forearms. He shouldn't be able to bend his elbows until they're out. But when they're out, they literally, for those of you watching through YouTube, you can see that they're fucking long. They're a good,
3 feet? 2.5?
2.5.
Yeah.
I'd give them 2.5. Yeah. They're 2.5 fucking feet. That's longer than your arm. Okay? Now, in the movie, they don't always look to be longer than his arm. In that case, maybe I'd give him, I don't know, like 2 feet maximum in that case. Whatever. Look, we're arguing semantics at this point. It doesn't make sense. The eye hole laser thing that he took from Cyclops, whatever, and how it kept shooting even after his head was off and he was decapitated and it was falling down the nuclear shaft. That makes less sense. What the fuck? Did you drop a flashlight while it was turned on?
He stole his teleportation from John Wraith because apparently, I guess, Sabretooth took his corpse back once he killed him.
Apparently. Oh, and apparently he didn't get the teleportation from a physical device. Instead, he actually stole the power. So there's that, you know. Ooh.
Yeah, so
the Regent property, of course, they stole from Wolverine.
So yeah, of course,
of course. Everyone wants his Regent property,
right? Yeah. I mean,
that's another thing.
Anyways. I mean, but that's even in the comics. Everybody fucking wants that.
That's true. Shoot, that's even in the comics for Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, And that's kind of the thing about like this interpretation of Deadpool is even from a personality standpoint, they stripped away everything that makes him Deadpool. Because sometimes like I'm not a complete purist, guys. Like if I see something that's off, but like if I see a comic book incarnation in the movie and the character's powers aren't what they should be, typically I'm okay with it as long as you get the essence of that character right.
Yeah.
They didn't do that either. So they essentially created their own new character, called him Wade Wilson, who became a Deadpool. Consider it a coincidence.
Which is so funny, dude.
Yeah. But hey, we've spent about 50 minutes on this first movie.
So let's breeze on here, brother. You're right. Because we've yet to talk about the best. So let's move on to
that was the best, right? The one the best? It wasn't. Kevin, asked you a question. X-Men Origins isn't the best?
Kombucha.
I thought we were discussing what was better, this or Endgame. No?
Wait, this or Endgame? What? What the even on a joking level, what the Whew. All right.
Yeah.
Wolverine. The Wolverine.
Yeah, the Wolverine. This was the first one directed by James Mangold.
Yeah. So, yeah. Never mind. I won't make that joke. I was about to say, I'm not sure if Gavin Hood was to be at fault for a lot of the things in X-Men Origins, but I'm glad that the man James Mangold himself took the wheel and started driving these movies.
And I guess also in Gavin's defense, like I forgot to look up who wrote that screenplay
for what X-Men Origins.
For X-Men Origins.
Skip Woods. That was one of the names I just looked up for you.
Okay.
And David Benioff.
Yeah. Was Simon? I think Simon Kinberg also probably because he wrote or at least helped write so many of these goddamn X-Men movies.
I don't know. I don't know if he was part of this one. I can look up the Wikipedia real quick. But right now, I don't have anything about Simon. Yeah, because you're right. Simon's been a part of these for some time. Yeah.
And what about the Wolverine? Who wrote?
Nope, only 2 screenplays. Yep, only 2 screenwriters for Origins.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go back and look up the Wolverine.
Yep. For those of you watching, just finished Origins, talking about it. So who we. And now we're on to the Wolverine, which was, I think we can all agree, was a significant step up from Origins.
Yeah. Like I said before, we're climbing the ladder.
Yeah.
We get off those wobbly first pegs that maybe were a little decaying. Now we're going up to the better quality.
Right. It still wasn't great. I mean, it still wasn't perfect, but it was better. Oh, so it looks like Mark Bomback and Scott Frank wrote this one.
Boom. Yep. That's the names I got here too. Yep.
The reason I was wondering about who wrote it was because I guess kind of a spoiler alert, but James Mangold wrote the he wrote the story and helped write the screenplay for Logan, as well as directed Logan. For the Wolverine, he just directed it.
Okay.
And it's funny because you can kind of tell where his influence is and where his presence isn't felt. So like, for example, in the Wolverine, the tone feels more at home.
It does.
Yeah.
So tonally, this movie comes out the gate hard with a heavy nod of respect to the ideas of symbolism and philosophical usage. So that they're going a lot more into this like more complex feeling, and that itself helps to anchor a more serious tone to the movie, which is awesome. And then, of course, the idea of Wolverine in this very foreign setting, something very unbeknownst to him, something totally new off his radar. Very cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, like as far as like the canonical influences for this one, it was heavily influenced by the writings of the duo of Frank Miller and Chris Claremont. Like those two had an arc on Wolverine that is fantastic. As a matter of fact, later on this month, maybe even next Friday, I believe, they're re-releasing a Wolverine omnibus that I've been waiting for. It went out of print maybe 5 years ago, and they're reprinting it, and it has that arc in it. And I really want to go back and reread that arc because I haven't read it since Wolverine.
That's really a good idea, man. You should buy that for me.
What?
You should buy it for me.
You have one.
Just no, buy it for me. Come on, I want two.
Anyways, yeah. But no, that's. Oh, yours has Old Man. Yours has Old Man Logan in it.
It does have Old Man Logan
and the Gorgon story.
Yep.
With the hand. But no, So that's the arc that influences the Wolverine. That's where it gets its canonical ties from. That's when we see Wolverine go to Japan and we see him fall in love and almost get married to the daughter of a very powerful warlord. Mm-hmm. That's where we first introduced like the Silver Samurai and the Haradas. Ken Harada, and then much later on, like in 2012, Shin Harada, both being Silver Samurai, different incarnations. But no, this movie was definitely a step in the right direction.
It was, dude. It was a much more fun movie to watch. The action in the first movie was great, but you could tell and feel out that a lot of the scenes were sacrificed and written around the action, which is a dangerous pivotal game if your focal point is only action, more bullshit action, because that can lessen the quality of the actual material of your story. In other words, your writing is shit if all you want to give me is action. 9 times out of 10. But in this case, they worked more hand in hand. A lot of the action was super fun and over the top. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking at bullet train scenes, which was super fun.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, like, they made it make sense. They wrote the scene and said, okay, the action bit here, we're going to film it like this too. It wasn't just, here's the action. Now, what are we going to write to make this happen?
Yeah.
Totally different mindsets.
I have a theory that I'm trying to work out in my brain.
Please.
And the theory is James Mangold does not like to use a lot of mutants.
I would stew on that. I would stew on that because I don't know enough to disagree with that. In fact, that feels pretty true. It does feel pretty true. We'd have to look that up and see if there's a community that is already discussing that. Maybe they have some evidence that we can read upon later. That's fine.
Or further evidence.
Yeah.
I'm just basing it off of the movies we have here.
Yeah.
But anyways, the Wolverine, it starts off with kind of a darker, or at least more grounded tone, where we see Wolverine. He's literally living off the land. He's a wild man here.
Yeah. I really dug this intro, dude.
I do too.
First off, the CG bear, I was thankful. I literally gave up a sigh of relief when I saw the CG of the bear and how much better it looked compared to Origins.
Yeah.
It
looked like there was some puppetry involved, which typically makes things look better.
It does. Yeah. The more real you can make it, the better. Yeah. The more the eye will naturally catch on to that and think, oh, that's clean. That's crisp.
Right. Yeah. And the reason I think they probably used puppetry is because there was a point where he put his hand on the bear to stab it.
Yeah.
And so like typically when you get any kind of physical interaction, it usually looks wonky as shit if it's a complete CG thing. Yeah.
My brain goes to a great example for that, brother. I gotta share it with you. So remember the awesome scene when Chris Pratt in Jurassic World was working with Blue and the other raptors. I remember watching the scene in theaters. All of us do. It was a cool scene when he jumps in the ring, right, guys? And he's like, Blue, calm down. You know me, Blue. And he's like in there with them, in fucking proximity, no protection, no safety, protecting this young idiot who fell in the ring. And in reality, on the real side of things, on the other side of the fucking camera, you see 4 grown-ass men in green suits with fucking like foam dinosaur heads on. And I'm watching Chris Pratt like act his ass off.
Yes.
He does a great job of making it real when he's like convincing that these 4 grown-ass men with styrofoam dino heads on are actual dinosaurs. And he's acting it out with them, just kind of like acting like dinosaurs.
Think about how good of an actor you have to be. Same thing with Peter Dinklage. Have you seen the behind the scenes footage? It was when he went down to the dungeon when Danny was gone, and they were
with the dragon.
Yes.
Oh man!
Like the behind the scenes footage, you see this guy in a green suit completely, and he's holding like a styrofoam dragon head. And Peter Dinklage is acting his ass off. Like, how do you do it? I couldn't keep a straight face.
I know, right? I wish I could just be an understudy, just sitting there in the direct, like beside all the other people, not even in an official chair, just like in a fucking like fold out. Sit there just watching, like, what's the technique? What's he doing? Is this minimalism? What is his acting technique? Right. I love that shit, dude. Oh my gosh.
Oh
yeah.
Back to the Wolverine.
Yeah, wow, we steered into other fiction.
Jurassic Park and Game of Thrones. Yeah. We went all over the place.
But yeah, dude, you're right. This movie has such a better tone and setting.
It does. Yeah. I made the joke, and now the more I think about it, I wish they would have incorporated it. But if this really was like a nod to the Demon Bear, that would have been great.
Guys, that's an awesome joke. Go back and listen to our episodes of the New Mutants preview episode we did a couple weeks ago. New Warriors? No, New Mutants. Yeah. Not New Warriors. Not the New Warriors. That's a whole nother shit show. That's a fun episode too if you're down for a shit show. But no, New Mutants, Demon Bear breakdown.
Absolutely. Yeah. If the movie ever comes out, guys, they're going to use the Demon Bear as probably the main antagonist. So
yep.
Really cool stuff. But anyways,
which by the way, I'm expecting Antonio Banderas just to be dressed up as a fucking
shit.
I know, right? I'm imagining it now, and I'm joking. Dadgummit.
Like because of the overall ridiculousness and just the lack of a substantial plot and origins, we didn't even talk about like the pacing of it because it's irrelevant to everything else.
It really is. Like, there's so many problems with it that the pacing, I didn't even think about it. It was just fuck all at this point. Mm-hmm. But anyways.
But because the Wolverine is a better movie, better written and better told, you do notice the pacing more. Yeah. And I thought that, like, the pacing was one thing I noticed that for me just felt a tad bit off.
It did. Like, I liked it up to this point, and then once we got to Act 2, basically, when Wolverine and Mariko
after the bullet train. For me, everything got to the bullet train, lulled into the third act.
Like I was just about to say, actually, you're reading my mind here. Get the fuck out of my brain. When Wolverine and Mariko kind of team up and become like their own separate thing together, because everything from that point on goes to a crawl, and that's the thing. It's not a completely original mistake. A lot of movies kind of do that. When you force your hero protagonist, the badass, with the potential love interest of the movie, because you want them to have more exposure with the camera, you want to kind of flesh out the story together, you want to build the potential relationship bullshit. Yeah. We've seen it before.
Yeah, you're right, we have. And this isn't the first time we've seen this mistake in movies, but
granted, it was cool. One thing I love about this movie was the whole setting itself. Like I remember speaking with Q in the middle of watching the Wolverine, that a lot of it was CG'd for certain scenes, and that's necessary for these movies because it's super fiction. But there were certain moments when it wasn't, and it was just actual what looked like Japanese setting in like a city side or a countryside. It's like, hot damn, dude, this is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. This looks phenomenal. Like, this makes me want to go there and experience this for, like, 2 weeks or something, just like an extended stay vacation and just, like, experience these multifaceted parts of such a beautiful land. And it was really cool seeing him kind of work his way around here. Because, like I was saying before, this is new territory for him at this point. Like, he had never culturally dove into all of this like he did. And so it was really cool seeing him, like, in the intro when he was there. And he was, like, there, of course, doing what Wolverine does. He's being a soldier in the middle of a fight.
Right.
But then it was really awesome scenes later in the middle of this really slow pacing, get the fuck on with my story, I'm ready for this movie to go, where he's kind of like revisiting the same spot. Yes. I appreciated that. In the middle of this slow pacing, I liked that a lot, where he's like, wait, I recognize this spot. And he has to like go back to the spot where he was like, in the fucking trench, in the pit, the hole, the cave, whatever the thing was, the manhole. Yeah. He was in the manhole just kind of waiting for this nuclear blast to kind of like subside and go away. Mm-hmm. That was really cool.
Yeah. And once again, like, this movie also had a really great opener. Like, I enjoyed all of that. Mm-hmm. Like the opening scene where we see him like in Japan, like as a Probably a prisoner of war.
Yeah, I wrote down that he was a POW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the next scene where we see him waking up from a dream state with Jean. By the way, that is kind of a something about this movie I did not like.
What, the whole Jean Grey fallbacks?
Yeah.
I could have left them after the one. I liked the first one, and after that it was too much.
Yeah, and I think part of the thing of it is, you're right, it did become too much, but it's like the more you show it to me, the more I'm expecting you to kind of tell me what this is, because like this isn't an all pure Jean. So like your interpretation of Jean in these dreams isn't something that really makes a whole lot of sense for her. So is this Phoenix that you're conversing with? Because she sings some evil shit sometimes.
She is. I think it's Wolverine's guilt personified.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I took it to be. That was me filling in the story for what it didn't give me. You didn't define it for me, so I'm defining it for myself. In that moment, watching those scenes when Jean Grey was kind of like in the lace pajamas, always like lazily trying to whisper into Wolverine's ear, "Hey, do this, do that, do this." I kind of took that as like his guilt personified.
Yeah,
survivor's guilt. But you're right; they don't give me that. They don't say that, and then they go back and back and back to it so often. It's disconnecting, is what it is. I get that the man's got survivor's guilt. We see that through and through his character.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, survivors.
I think I would have appreciated that more if they give us one with Jean, and they can have Jean, like she did in the movie, mention how Logan did kill her in some fashion. If there could be another dream where he's maybe in the fucking war and all the people, maybe he kills people in the opposing team that he didn't necessarily need to kill. Maybe we get another flashback of a Weapon X spec operation where he's like just different stages, I think, of what causes him so much grief. I would have appreciated more.
Another Sabretooth appearance.
Yeah.
Only thing about that, though, unfortunately, costs money.
That's true.
But we need Liev Schreiber to come for one scene. Liev Schreiber says, "Okay, I need to pay this much for this scene." We don't need Liev Schreiber anymore.
We don't need him for the scene anymore. Never mind.
Oh, he's got a hit TV show now? No, we don't need him. We don't need
Reed Donovans on Showtime? Oh, well, fuck.
Mm-hmm. Get out of my brain. Reading my thoughts, man. But yeah, dude. Yeah. That would have been a great idea, though. Genuinely, if the fat stacks were there for the movie, I would have seen them. I would have happily asked for them to pay for that. Yeah.
I would have even asked for, like, if you're a director, you can get really fucking creative. Ask for B-roll footage from previous films and repurpose it. Like that.
Oh, okay. You basically Carrie Fisher that. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's not disrespectful. I really hope it isn't.
Rest in peace, the late great Carrie Fisher.
Rest in peace. Yeah. Indeed. But yeah, I mean that was ingenious what they did for those Star Wars movies.
I mean, they were put in the bind.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you gonna do in that situation?
Yeah. Who else did they do that for? Oh, brother, help me out. Who? It was a guy that they did it for.
Also, Star Wars. Was it Larkin? He was in Rogue One.
No, I don't think so. Was it? No.
Yeah. There was another one in Rogue One. He was one of the generals. They did it for him.
I couldn't remember. I don't think it was another Star Wars property. I thought it was something else where they kind of like worked him into the movie somehow. But I don't remember.
Yep. Anywho, what you think about the plot for this movie?
Overall, I liked it. I liked how out of focus it was for us because it left us in the mystery.
Yeah.
I don't need my hand held the whole time. At the beginning, the only thing we know is that there's this strange bullshit going on with this Japanese family. Eventually, we see the Japanese families chasing after Mariko, this one daughter who seems like a pretty good person. So it's kind of easy to team up with her from an audience point of view. And then we don't get the big reveal, spoiler alert, later on that it's all about the company and the family heritage and wait, why the fuck is she getting it? No, I want that. Have her killed so it goes back to me. And that's really cool. I dug it.
Yeah.
More than the plot, I liked the way it unfolded for us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, brother?
No, I think that's a really great way to put it. And I enjoyed how it unfolded more than the actual story itself. And I don't know. It's like the actual story itself, it shouldn't have, but in all the worst way. Don't misconstrue this as a good thing. But
now, don't mishear my thoughts.
Right. Don't mistake this for a compliment. It's not. But the movie left me wanting more, and I mean that in all the worst ways.
I mean, by the ending, by Act 3, we're getting into some kind of loose stuff. So yeah.
And
the Wolverine did not end the way it began.
Yeah, no. I mean, Ken Harada and Logan have such bad blood, especially in the comics. And then also him and his son, Shin Harada, also have bad blood. It's like they didn't put Ken in the movie. They replaced him with a made up character, essentially. What was his name? I forget.
The fiance, right?
No, the old man.
Oh, no. So in other words, instead of going to father son, they go to grandfather father.
Yeah.
They say that this grandfather, and I think they did that to make the timeline of it all work. So this grandfather could have been in the war when Wolverine himself was in the war. And that made sense time-wise, but that does unfortunately sacrifice canonical characters.
Yeah.
That being
like the Silver Samurai.
Right. Like we had Ken Silver Samurai, but not his son Silver Samurai, right?
Well,
that's my translation.
But technically, like the fight that's actually good in that movie, like the good.
Like that was the honest Silver Samurai fight in my mind.
Yeah. That character in the movie was Shinjin, who was the second Silver Samurai, the son of Ken. So we see.
Wait, was Ken the grandfather?
Ken was the representation of the grandfather.
No. Oh, yeah, but I mean, the grandfather himself was a different character. They named the grandfather's son Ken.
They named his son Shinjin. Yeah, they gave him they gave Shinjin is the son of Ken. Ken was not in the movie.
Oh, okay. So they just literally took the middle brick out.
Yeah,
that's stupid. Okay. See, in my mind, the grandfather was here, and he was named whatever. He wasn't any of the canonical names. He was just person.
I see what you're saying.
And then underneath grandfather was Ken. I thought that's what the dude's name was in the Wolverine, but it wasn't. You're saying his name was Shin. The son's name, Mr. Shin.
Yeah,
Mr. Cool. Okay, Mr. Shin, who was a better Silver Samurai fight in the penultimate fight scenes, rather than the ultimate fight scenes at the end.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's it. And that was just about as confusing as it sounded, guys. I mean,
it was like I had to build it out with my hands. For the YouTubers, they're sitting there watching my hands, like, okay. I talk with my hands, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see that craziness, again, we're on YouTube.
Oh man, but no. As far as like what was good about this movie, I really also enjoyed Yukio. She's a lot of fun. She's always like a ball of energy and charisma every time she's on screen in something. Forget the name of the actress. Have to look her up later. But
that's why I'm here.
No,
yeah. I mean, keep doing your thing though. Yeah.
I also really enjoyed how she just kicked so much ass. I mean, like a lot of her fight choreography was very similar to Laura's and
Rila
and Logan.
Fukushima.
Say what?
Rila Fukushima. That's her name.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. What you were saying?
Yeah, a lot of her fight choreography was so fucking smooth and seamless. It was a lot like Laura's and in the movie Logan. Makes me wonder if they had like the same fight coordinator for both movies. But like as far as the plot goes for this one though, like I with this one it had me thinking about something else entirely, which is like most movies, there's a test audience. So you have what is at the time your proto finished product, and then you take a random selection of people, have them watch the movies, and then report back. I feel that like, and maybe this isn't the case. It probably isn't. This is my headcanon. I feel that like with the tests showing for this movie, that like the audience said, it was a pretty good movie, but we need a bigger fight at the end. Maybe you could put something else there, like something big for Logan to overcome. And then they went in and said, okay, let's put in this giant
Mecha Shiva. Yeah. So, potentially,
because that's just what it feels. Because it feels so disjointed from everything else in this movie.
Yeah.
It feels like it's from a different movie.
The problem with that is that in a test audience, especially in a test audience that you put together to achieve this results that says, hey, you did a great job, you don't need to do extra fit. The problem with that is that you can get a tainted testing. In other words, you can get a test audience that maybe aren't comic fans that don't know the canonical material, so they can sit there and watch the movie and be like, oh yeah, thumbs up, that was a fun movie. Yeah, thanks for the free movie. And then that's that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then that's kind of the sin that is potentially there. That's tempting even for Hollywood to do. And that's kind of what came in my mind there. And that probably hopefully isn't related here. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, you're right, where it's like, yeah, this test audience might have said, if they did have notes coming back saying, maybe we need a bigger fight. Put like a Silver Optimus Prime in this movie. And everyone's like, ooh, Silver Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job. You see someone click the pin in the background. Ken is in the back like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, because like I don't know. It's just a really weird thing. And once again, like this is me being pretentious rewriting the movie here.
Sure. I mean, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
We're superior homies.
I would have had the old man, the grandfather, legitimately been dead. I would have had him been dead.
Okay.
And then I would have had the movie focused on Shinjin Harada. I would have had it focused on him and him trying to capture his daughter, overthrow her, take the company over, have him put on like a legit fucking looking Silver Samurai outfit, and then
like the one that was portrayed at the funeral.
Yeah.
That was a great looking Silver Samurai.
It was, except it wasn't silver.
No. The one at the funeral
at
was.
The funeral,
The one he actually wore wasn't.
Yeah.
The one he wore was more like ancient feudal Japan. Right. Super badass. Don't get me wrong. But the one at the funeral was like an actual silver plated.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, realistically, let's step outside of the brink here, because I got some Smithy friends who have kind of taught me a little bit about malleability and certain metals that you do and don't use. Silver is a shitty metal for combat. Like, for instance, The Witcher, whenever he has steel and silver swords, one of my friends who knows more about the subject than I personally do was joking about, like, you can't work with silver that way. It's not that strong of a metal for combat use. You try to use that shit in a fight, and it's going to get dinged up too fast. It's going to... So it's kind of funny where it's like, oh, the Silver Samurai. So it's like his armor is silver?
Well, to be fair, it's just the color.
To be fair.
It isn't made from silver.
Okay. I'm glad you know that nerdy ass backstory. I'm glad my nerd friend here is here helping my nerd self when nerds collide.
In another universe, that's the name of the podcast.
Exactly. Superhero homies when nerds collide. Next time on When Nerds Collide.
We have to call it something if we ever pair up like nerds from a different genre on the podcast,
right?
Like
that'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be dope. I love that actually. Some guest stars. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I'm glad that's the case where it's just like, oh, it's a fancy ass metal, but we call it silver because that sounds cooler.
Alliteration. I mean,
good old Stanley's favorite.
Also, you have to think about it like, if that were also the case, imagine if Silver Surfer was made out of silver.
Yeah. Space Silver. Space Silver Samurai. See, that's triple alliteration. That's more powerful.
Man.
That's S to the third, man.
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah. But the more you know. That's all that was. Yeah. All right. Anyway.
But no, I thought that like as a whole, like if I don't know what you do for the pacing in the second act after the bullet train fight.
You don't try to cornhole a weird romance thing, you know.
I get it. Like those two fall in love in the comics, and I get that. But like at the same time, it's like
here's one thing you could do. You could have them do more.
Yeah.
And do more things of pertinence rather than Logan, these innocent people are here on the sidewalk. A tree fell. Can you help us? Help cut down a CG tree so we can have another shot of you being dehydrated and veins popping, looking all muscular and shit because you're Hugh fucking Jackman, and chop up an animated tree for us, please. You know, you could have less of that. and more of, okay, we need to get some intel done and see why these people are after you, what's going on, something. But again, that's us writing, new movie headcanon for them.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of moving pieces to the movie, and we don't spend enough time with all these pieces to kind of understand what's going on. Like, for example, there's the fiance who's the politician to Moriko. There's her father Shinjin, who we really should spend more time with that we don't.
Right.
He's another moving piece. Obviously, the grandfather, for all intents and purposes, is out of the picture. But there's Viper, who's another moving piece, and then there's the ninja guy, who's the archer.
Did I even write his name down? No, I didn't. I didn't even bother.
Interesting enough, they called him Harada something, which is maybe also raised my brow, but I don't know.
Okay. Why did it make you raise your brow?
Oh, because Harada is the last name of Ken and Shinjin. So.
Yeah, no, his name is Harada. Ironically enough, his name is Ken Harada.
Which makes even less fucking sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I'm getting it wrong there. Unless I'm getting... No. I think I am getting that wrong. Okay. So, never mind. So, that's our boy. That's the dad.
Yes, Kenichi Harada. Yeah.
That's okay. That's the name. Okay, never mind. I was reading it wrong.
That guy, he's the
Hiyori
politician.
Sanada. No, that's the politician douchebag.
I thought so.
Well, this isn't helping the case, brother. We're just getting fucked up all left and right here.
Yeah, we know what we're talking about, homies.
Yeah.
Needless to say, this movie still confuses us to an extent.
It does. It does. That's fair. Yeah, no, that one character was very flim-floppy in how they used him. Like he changed too much with the plot. I was trying to think of a clever new word to define a character that just flim-flops that easily.
He's plot fluid. You heard of gender fluid? He's plot fluid. All right. He just kind of he's malleable. He becomes whatever the plot needs him to.
That's not bad. It's not bad. That's pretty good. I like it. Plot fluid. Plot fluid. But yeah, so there's him. Overall, dude, the Wolverine.
Yeah. Once again, enjoyed the fight with Shinjin or Kenichi or whoever they decided to use in the movie, Shin or Ken. Son or father, whichever incarnation they decided to put into the movie.
See, beforehand you were telling me who they would use, and now we're confused.
Now I'm confused as shit. Like, which incarnation of Silver Samurai did they use? Because also interesting enough, like I don't know this for a fact, but I believe that Shinjin's first comic book appearance was in 2012. The movie came out in 2013, which is maybe why I'm thinking they use Shin because he's definitely the more recent incarnation, and he is the son of Ken. But anyways, who knows? But that was a fun fight. That was a great fight. I wish that the movie had been more centered around him as the bad guy, maybe more building him up and his badassery, and maybe because here's the thing. Also, if you go with Ken, he's a mutant. He's the one who has the power to charge his sword up. Like he's got that super cool ability.
Right.
His son Shinjin relies on technology, which motivates the plot even more if you think about it, Sam. So don't do that. As far as the
too late.
As far as like the Transformers plot and chopping off Wolverine's claws and
the whole like drilling into him to steal the healing factor. Take it for what it was. It was face value, It was
And you still never answered this question for me, Kevin. How did Wolverine get his claws back? Kevin, I asked you a question. I asked you if Wolverine got his...
Oh man, that water is super tasty. My gosh, water's never tasted so good. Ooh, wait, that's some good shit.
I was talking about Wolverine's adamantium claws. He got his claws.
Do you want me to slurp again? I'll slurp on this mic again, so help me.
But that is something that, we've all... I mean, don't get me wrong. As far as X-Men movies continuity holds, this is the least of their concerns.
Right.
But it's still something that's head-scratching.
It is. it does raise another issue that this was the least of their concerns with continuity and with head scratching questions. That raises another issue. Of course, we already talked about how a lot of that is because of Origins and how weird and off the wall that one was, and because that one was so bad, we are more okay with this movie and how it left us. If that hadn't come out, this would be the problem movie. You get what I'm saying there? Yeah. However, we've stewed on both of these products for too long. Let's talk about Logan.
Let's
talk about Logan. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yes.
Fuck yeah. Logan.
So Logan. Came out 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
So technically, the X-Men Origins came out in 2009, the Wolverine 2013, and Logan 2017. Mm-hmm. And this was Hugh's last outing as the comic book iconic character known as Logan, aka Wolverine.
Yep.
This is also by far the best Toad incarnation of the character.
In the first 15 minutes of the movie, we get more Wolverine than we have ever gotten in any of his other PG-13 movies. Yeah.
And that's just kind of the thing. We talked about this ad nauseum on previous episodes, but that's going to be the Disney conundrum as well. How does Disney handle this character, who obviously does best when the reins are released and he can be his R-rated self?
We need to have a representative in that room when they're having the breakdown, planning that out. Mm-hmm. We need to have a superhero homie ambassador.
Yeah.
Who can stand there and say, now guys, I present you the evidence brought to us by Q and Kevin, the superhero homies. Okay. Big fans, by the way. They love you guys. Not you, Kathleen. Get the fuck out.
What is Kathleen Kennedy doing in a Marvel meeting? Get the fuck out.
She walked in the wrong room.
Oh, okay.
She did. Of course, she didn't plan for it.
God damn.
I feel like whatever I'm going to say is not going to be as funny now.
Oh. The joke is, guys, Kathleen.
Anywho. But yeah, no.
I think that the answer to that conundrum is what they've already done in previous movies. You replace people with robots. You replace blood with oil. That's what they've done. And I mean, if you think about it, Iron Man 2, you see War Machine point blank fire a fucking Gatling cannon at another robot, and the thing like revolves like it's a human getting shot up, and you see fucking oil squirting everywhere.
That's a good example. That's one technique that I fully I like that. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I can see that working out where it's like just use a lot more of the sweat or blood or excuse me, the sweat or the oil, basically do what old Mortal Kombat did. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, like Sector and people like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting, dude. I like that technique. But you're right. I hope that Disney does kind of have a step of faith there in realizing that now with their old animations, their cartoon movies, and their awesome family feel-good movies, they could easier hold to that rule of thumb on the other properties. I mean, yeah. It's come on, guys. So at this point now, you're buying Marvel movies and shit like that. Yeah, I mean they don't own the boys. You get what I'm saying? Right. You get what I'm saying, though, guys. But
you were Punisher, shit.
No, we're going back to Garth then. Then yeah, you need to kind of give some leeway to certain properties. Yeah. I'm not asking for an R-rated Lion King, okay? I'm asking for
I want to see that.
Actually, that kind of makes sense too now. Just have Jeff Goldblum narrate it. You got him going that way for the nature things. Come on.
Yeah, like when Mufasa is falling, you just have him go, Simba, fuck. He just
oh, son of a bitch. But in classic Mufasa voice, right. Yeah, I can't do that. But yeah, man, that'd be great. But okay, jokes aside, let what deserves an R rating and what would thrive off an R rating, like Logan, like Deadpool, like whatever, be that fleshed out.
Let me ask you this then, while we're on the topic.
Sure.
How would you feel if if Wolverine is instead used in the X-Force alongside Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and other members of the X-Force, combine those two powerhouses in R-rated movies, and then instead in the X-Men movies you use Laura.
I'm open-minded.
Okay.
You get one shot, kid. You get one strike, kid.
All right. Daphne King reprises her role.
You're winning.
That's all right.
You're winning. You're winning. You're on the right. Dude, Daphne King is fucking great, dude.
That little girl is phenomenal.
She is so good. And remember, homies, I want to call Q out real quick here, friendly enough. Yeah. I remember you saying to me that child actors just didn't do it for you. Whereas certain child actors, you're just like, nah, fuck that.
Oh yeah, everything up until Stranger Things, child actors are mostly shit.
But then Stranger Things came out, and ever since then, we've been seeing some pretty great child actors.
Yeah.
Stranger Things, Daphne Keen's a great example, dude. Yeah, we've seen some cool things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like they are of a different tier than what they once were.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she's great. And I think was this her first gig in anything? I think it was.
Yep. Intro credits are talking about and introducing
Daphne King. Yeah. And we haven't said this not even once because it doesn't need to be said, but Hugh Jackman is amazing. So for those of you who are wondering,
for those of you who haven't seen Logan yet, spoiler alert, he's great. The movie's great. It's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
Oh man, where to go with this movie though, man? It has a great plot.
It really does. I know we've spoken about it in depth before. The movie is a great kind of futuristic story plot there. It is set in the future. We do kind of see that a little bit, not super in the sense of technology. So
2029, it's appropriate.
2029, yeah. He's driving a 24 Chrysler, which totally exists, So let's talk about this real quick. This is something that I feel like has been a newer thought we've developed well after the matter of fact. This was such a unique movie compared to the others. Let's talk about why that is. What made it stand out from its predecessors? What made this the top of the ladder?
So my answer, and I'll explain.
Because I have a chunk of answer too, but I want to hear your side.
First and foremost, my answer is it's definitely it's within the hands of the creators itself. James Mangold, he's great at what he does. He's also really superb at modern Western movies. I like modern Westerns, whether it be No Country for Old Men or even Sicario. Those are types of new age Westerns. But James Mangold also did 3:10 to Yuma, the newer one that came out in 2007. Okay. Christian Bale and Russell Crowe. Amazing movie. It's a phenomenal fucking movie. And he takes so much of what made that movie phenomenal and he applies it to Logan. In other words, the man knows how to make a fucking Western.
He does. Yeah, that's actually going to be part of my answer, dude.
Yeah.
So real quick, for the homies out there, and especially for maybe some of our younger homies listening in, hi. Let's define what that means. Let's define what the Western genre is and why it stands out.
Yeah. So what that typically means is that as far as a new age Western, I already referenced No Country for Old Men and Sicario.
Great fucking example. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And really what those movies do is that they reconstruct the role of the villain and of the protagonist. They take both roles and they really deconstruct them and put them back together in a way so that it doesn't feel so familiar. It puts you in a setting so that you feel like you're open, but you're encaged. That's what a lot of these new age Western movies do. And Logan also does that exact same thing.
So kind of the world of the movie is in a sandbox, a sandbox territory, almost like a sandbox game that you're playing, where you're free to reign around. There's no hiking trail that you're stuck on. There's no roadway or railway, but at the same time, cleverly enough, the movie's tonnage and the writing of it does actually limit your escape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're right. They cleverly use the ideas of the protagonist and the villain to where it's these aren't the same stories you've been told before. These are these stories are going to stand out to you, and that both teams get different representations than you're used to.
Right.
That's a clever way to put it, my man. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What about you? Like, what makes this movie stand out to you so much?
So the Western vibe to it was one thing, definitely. The other thing that made it stand out to me, something that you can see, especially if you got the Blu-ray thing like we did, and you get access to all the bonus content. One of the things that made this movie stand out to me was Hugh Jackman's passion for this to be the best Wolverine movie out there. It had to be the best. That was his rule for agreeing to sign the dotted line, saying, I will be Wolverine one more time. And that was the rule. It had to glow. It had to be the best. It had to say, fuck Silver Samurai, let's go gold, and it did. And he was so passionate about that. And that passion reflected to the cast and the crew. Everybody was dedicated to making this a phenomenal product that held.
Yeah.
And James Mangold respected the fuck out of that. He said, no, it had to be that good. We couldn't let up. We knew this had to stand above what has already happened in the past. And that mad passion and respect fueled the movie and gave it this resolve it needed to be just what it was. It was pulling. It was emotional. It was great, dude.
Yeah.
It
was all that. And a bag of chips.
And a big old bag of chips. Or popcorn.
So I do want to go ahead and say this too, because I know that oddly enough, the movie Logan has its critics because it didn't really adapt the story Old Man Logan.
Those critics are always going to exist, Yeah.
I wanna address that because
they're
not wrong. The movie doesn't adapt that story.
No.
But and here's the thing, here's the caveat, and here's why I'm not a hypocrite for liking this movie so goddamn much. It's because they stay true to the nature of the characters, which is superhero homies rule number one.
Yeah.
You can tell whatever story you want to tell as long as you stay true to the nature of the characters.
It's like we talked about, guys, character integrity. That's something that's always going to reign above and beyond. We've been told these stories tons and tons of times. If you want to tell a different story with these characters, that's okay. But the characters still have to be themselves.
Yeah.
We've broken that down in so many fucking ways that I don't know how to say it differently. We're here. That's our statement. That's that. But you're right. From the pages, it's different. What I was going to joke about is that this was not supposed to be another superhero movie. In fact, wasn't there a statement prior saying that James Mangold actually didn't like superhero movies, that they had to be more grounded?
Which is why I think he doesn't use a lot of mutants either.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think that theory stands. Because I can only find supporting evidence, not counter evidence to that. I will say this though, his representation in this movie, I loved, even though it wasn't from the Old Man Logan pages, which I also loved.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, guys: the Old Man Logan pages would have had to involve,
MCU
characters, a blind Hawkeye, a fucking roided out pervert Hulk, that would have been a lot. I'm grateful that we didn't try to overflood this movie with all that, and instead we got what we got. Would I like that in movie form? Totally. Let that be its own thing. Maybe even an animated movie. I would love the hell out of that. That I'm inviting people to make that. But what they gave me here, this 2017 movie, don't alter it. This was beautiful. This was a great swan song for Hugh Jackman to go out on the part.
This was a phenomenal final outing for the character and for Hugh. Like it was great.
Yeah.
So we spoke about why the R rating was so necessary as well. Because like it's not just the fact that we like gratuitous violence for gratuitous violence sake.
Even though that's kind of cool.
Even though that is definitely very cool. It was also great to see, because like here's the thing, like in the hands of a less imaginative or creative stunt coordinator, it could have still fallen flat even though it's R-rated. Like it just isn't the R rating and the fact that we get to see blood and gore in this movie. It's how things are still done. It's how the stunts are still performed. It's the imagination of the stunt coordinator. Like the fact that the coordinator, he obviously knows and understands, okay, I don't just need to make this look like a cool fight scene with knives. I need to understand how Wolverine acts, how he thinks, how he fights. And that was evident here.
Yeah.
That he did that. So I appreciate that because I definitely noticed that.
We saw a lot of the Wolverine technique where it's like the counterattack that he loved to use. Guys, if you made a drinking game out of this movie, one of the things that would get you drunk quick is how many times he does the block and the bicep arm stab.
Yeah.
He does that so many times in this movie. And that is so pivotal. That is so instrumental to his fighting style. And you're right. That's reflected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And also, this movie has some of the best fucking CG that superhero movies have ever had. And you heard me correctly. I'm talking about this movie. I'm talking about Logan. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, it doesn't use as much CG as other superhero movies, but its CG is so good and so subtle that you can be forgiven for not noticing it. Like Hugh Jackman's face for half the movie is CG'd.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and a lot of people thought that, with X-24, they thought that, like, the scene, especially when you see him walking down the stairs past Hugh, people thought, okay, well, they must have done a simple split screen technique where you have Hugh here, you have him react, then you have Hugh walk down the stairs. No, that was a completely different motherfucker walking down the stairs. And then they CG'd Hugh's face on him.
Yeah.
And it looked fucking, and they de-aged his face.
Yeah.
When they put it on there.
It looked great.
It looked fucking great.
Also, one thing I didn't realize until this viewing, which is this is my sixth or seventh time watching the movie, I had to think about it. One of the things I gained from watching them all back to back, he had Victor Creed's hairstyle. And we talked about that. It's like, whoa, I never noticed that. He looks more like Victor Creed here. Yeah.
Yeah, like
excuse me.
I told you this like off mic during the showing, but like the first time I saw the movie and, you see X-24 standing over Professor X. I thought it was Liv Schreiber as Sabretooth. I was like, oh fuck, they did get him back. And I was like, oh no, he doesn't have those.
he stabs him. Oh, whoa, that's not him. That's not my. Nope. That's great.
Yeah. Which, by the way, he was this close to being in the movie.
Yeah, man.
And I love this movie, but I will always wonder what this movie would have looked like with him in it.
Dude, I would have loved that, even if it was for a couple of scenes or something, something small.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I will also compliment this movie on that other movies didn't do, and this is a nod to story writing that I personally love. Granted, this is opinionated, but my opinion is fucking strong in this, and you better come hard at me with counter evidence if you're going to fight me on it. I love stories that have miniature stories in them. It's not a difficult thing to explain, but I feel like a lot of people are going to have a hard time understanding the difference in what this is. Okay, I'm not talking about like a side plot where along the entire stretch of the movie there's these like other two characters that are not pivotal characters, but they're having like a love interest or they're having like their own errand sequences to run, and they kind of have their own character development through that. No, that's character development on a side plot. What I'm talking about is we have this overarching story, and in the middle of the story, we have a one and done mini story. I love the fuck out of that. I love it when it's done correctly. It makes your overarching story meatier. And the reason why I'm saying that is that with this mini story, if you're using it correctly, in this case, I'm talking about the family on the farm, of course, where they have their own mini story where they meet once upon a time, this family of three, a simple farmer, their son, and a happy little wife. And everybody lives on this corn syrup farm, is what they were saying, which was hilarious to me. Go America. And
that's the future.
That's the future. Corn syrup is in everything. It's in your energy drinks. It's in your hard pills.
Yeah, but you're right. Just really quick, that does rope around into the main part of the movie. If you look at what Dr. Rice was saying, how they're trying to manufacture mutants now, how they're trying to control the populace. One way to do it is the diet, is what it was saying. And then you realize that there's these giant corn farms, and the guy was telling Logan, hey, we put this in everything now.
Yeah, so that's a great point too. Yeah. One thing that was going on with this though is that this side plot opens with our three main characters, with X-23, Logan, and Charles, all of them kind of meeting this family, spending a night with them. We got to joke about the dinner roll before I'm done, by the way. We'll tell you guys what that is. And by the end of it, we have this family just eviscerated, completely ended. Their lives, they're all killed. Spoiler alert, because of meeting these people and the enemies of our protagonists coming in and kind of wiping the scene with them. However, the reason why this mini story, I feel, is such a fun necessity to the overarching story is that it adds complexity. It adds a richness to the story, and it adds how did I write it down here? It adds it adds layers to our characters and the overarching plot. It just makes it richer. Because what other movies do is that they streamline their movies. Mm-hmm. It's that formula, it's that formulaic shit that's just, it's like copy and paste. All the movies kind of follow the same track of thing. Whenever you do something like this, it adds a fun separate ingredient that, again, your characters based, they have complexity by the end of the short story, which adds to the complexity and the character growth of the long story. It's such a good chemistry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I hope that makes sense to a lot of you out there. Logan is a great example with the mini story in between there. And there's a number of other ones out there. Well, I'll have to mention more the more I think of them later. But yeah.
Logan is a phenomenal movie. Now, imagine, Kevin, if you will, if there were 6-7 other movies that felt just like Logan that Fox put out. Fantastic Four version of it, Daredevil version of it, Ghost Rider version of it. And it's like, that sounds amazing, but after a while, it becomes the norm, and then you become desensitized to it, and it just it is what it is.
Right.
In other words, I'm kind of picking that Marvel right now, because what Logan is something that has never been done before. I always compare it to The Dark Knight, because there was never a superhero movie like The Dark Knight. And the reason those movies stand out so much is because they're not replicated. They're on their own. And that's how they withstand the test of time. There isn't anything trying to replicate it or take its place or to follow up on their successes. They caved their own ways, and then they cemented themselves as phenomenal movies. So now take Iron Man, for example, in the MCU.
Okay.
I love fucking Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
I fucking love Iron Man 1. Here's the problem, though, is that there's so many other MCU origin movies that take the same thing, and they just try to replicate it, and they all feel alike.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. And I made this kind of reference before in the podcast, but hell, if Doctor Strange had come out first instead of Iron Man, maybe I would be here saying I love Doctor Strange, that movie, so much.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Doctor Strange feels just like Iron Man.
It does.
And there are other movies that follow the same type template, the same type format.
Yeah.
And other what I'm saying is that I really hope that Marvel, moving forward, realizes that, you need to switch it up. I'm not just saying make Westerns. Make a movie that feels like a Western. Make one that feels like a horror.
Yeah.
Make movies that fill out every kind of genre, because ultimately superhero, we call it the superhero genre, but it's more of a superhero outlet.
Yeah.
And then within that, you can fill it in with all the other genres, with whatever you want.
And to the people of influence who are listening to this, hopefully one day, if not today, you're listening to this right the fuck now. That's how you win more audience. That's how you expand potential readers and watchers and enjoyers and fans of your product. That's how you get them. You do exactly what the fuck you just said, dude. Because that's golden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you add your own originality and expand out to scratch those other itches that we have out there, like the horror vibe or the spy thriller vibe. That'd be a fun. Yeah.
Make a superhero drama. Fuck, like one that's just a straight up drama.
That'd be weird. I'd be into it,
but that's kind of the thing, though, is that the reason why they keep falling back on that formula, the Iron Man formula, is because it works and it makes money.
And they don't got faith.
Yeah, and like you could go out on a limb, take a chance, and they could fucking flop. And then maybe Disney would feel like they have egg on their face.
Yeah, and flops don't make money. So
yeah, flops don't make money.
Yeah.
So so that's the only reason I can imagine why they don't take more chances or allow their creators to take more chances. But they will. This isn't like something that I think I know this will happen if they continue down this stretch.
Yeah,
the mainstream audience will grow tired and they will put less asses in seats.
Shoot, it's already kind of happening, man. We've already talked about superhero fatigue. It exists. It's a nominal case right now, but a minimal. Excuse me, wrong word. Minimal. It is a minimal case right now, but that shit can grow.
Yeah, I think that only becomes a thing if this next phase feels like the past three, as far as the MCU goes.
Yeah. I mean, they're already planting the right seeds.
They are.
Hopefully, Black Widow is a spy thriller superhero, and then we have the horror superhero.
That's actually really great. Like, the state of the world right now, it's kind of in a scary place, and it is setting back a lot of things. That's kind of a benefit, I think, because by the time movie theaters opens up, and by the time Black Widow comes out at the end of the year, people are going to be ready. So that is one really good upside. I think that Disney could potentially make more money because of it, but we'll see. But no, with saying all that, I just also wanted to give Logan his props for going out on a limb, taking a chance, and doing something different.
Yeah,
doing something that hasn't been done before. Dark Knight is a crime drama, and I mean that's what it is. It's a crime drama.
Yeah.
And it is goddamn phenomenal. Logan is a Western. It's a new school Western. And these movies are the better for it.
It's kind of funny, actually.
What's that?
Man. Homies, it's ironic as hell. I'm kind of stewing here a little bit, thinking about the Western vibe and the genre and whatnot. Growing up, my dad loved to watch Westerns. It was like his downtime, I loved watching movies with my dad. That's something I've already kind of opened up to here on the mic numbers of times. I love reminiscing on those days. My dad liked to watch Westerns, though, and I didn't enjoy them growing up. They were old movies. They were old man movies, But now it's so funny because it's like, damn. I'm thinking of like the movies I really like No Country for Old Men or Daggum Sicario.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm becoming my dad
in
modern Westerns. Yeah.
That does bring up kind of a scary point to bring this full circle.
Oh, dear.
The reasons why Westerns went down, Kevin, is because they just kept making the same fucking movie.
Yeah.
It was the same fucking, I used to pick my parents because they love Westerns too, and I would like, all these feel and look the same, Ma or Dad.
How can you tell which one this is?
Yeah, how can you tell?
I don't know the name of this one until the ending scene when she goes, Preacher. I don't know what,
All right.
Before all that scenes, I don't know what I'm watching.
And my dad probably thinks it's blasphemous because I love, I mentioned 3:10 to Yuma, the remake.
Yeah.
James Mangold did that one in 2007. I love that movie.
Daggum James Mangold.
Yeah.
Cheers to James Mangold.
Yeah.
I ran out of kombucha. I'm back to water.
But I haven't seen the original 3:10 to Yuma. My dad probably thinks me blasphemous for that.
It sounds like a Father's Day thing you guys should do together now. Yeah. Once all this clears up.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, but no, man. The problem with talking about Logan is that there's not a whole lot of critique for the movie. That's
the problem?
That's what we're good at. Yes,
we're very good at highlighting critique. But dude, I mean, I hope there's a number of homies out there who feel that we also give a lot of praise to things that deserve it. Unfortunately, we're really good at calling shit out. I say unfortunately, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but
it is. It kind of is.
One of the funny things about being a movie critic or a podcaster like we are is that you have to kind of take the job with a seed of humility in recognizing when something's done different than your expectations and is done super fucking well. I didn't expect Logan to come out as a Western. I didn't expect it to be as emotionally powerful as it was, but it was so daggum good that my sorry ass bought a second ticket on the same fucking day and turned right back around and went and sat down in the same theater and watched it again that day. I've never done that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, Logan for me is on the small list of movies that I've gone to see in the theater multiple times.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah, it joins the ranks of Winter Soldier, joins the ranks of Endgame and Infinity War.
I've gone to see multiple movies in theaters again, but never on the same day where I'm like, you know what? I'm confident that I'll watch this again today and still love it as much the second time. You know?
Yeah, I needed to cool down. I was like, I can't do this.
Normally, I'm like that. Like I saw Iron Man in theaters like twice as well. You know, that was one. And it was like I had like a week in between. You know,
yeah, man. Like as far as like this movie goes as a whole, like I thought it had a great cast. You know, Boyd Holbrook as Donald Pierce. He has such a different take on this character.
He did, dude. He was dangerously charismatic. It was so cool watching him on screen.
I think I made this joke before, but man, he really is doing like his best Doc Holliday, impression.
He really was.
He's just fucking hamming that shit up. He kind of like
reminiscent of him too.
Oh yeah, he watched Tombstone a bunch of times. Before
another great movie.
Yeah. Another great one. Yeah,
I enjoyed that one with my dad a lot. Actually,
yeah. Tombstone, Unforgiven. Those are two older ones that superb. Anyways, but no, I really liked what they did with him here in this movie. Like his and the rest of the Reavers, like their interpretation fit the tone of this movie more than than the traditional cyborg men who they really are. But no, like I thought they were good for this movie. Maybe I would have liked a little bit more cyborg amplifications on some of the Reavers, like especially during the fight at the end. Maybe they could show off some things that they can do instead of just toting guns. But yeah,
that would have been dope. Like showing some more cybernetic abilities.
Patrick Stewart.
Performance he's got a lot of performances of a lifetime. Who am I kidding? But another one. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Dude, the opening scene with him was flooring. When he was just like wheeling around in his like little super makeshift, not so cool chair as the past movies. And he's just like crazy, repeating commercials.
Right. Taco Bell commercials.
Taco Bell quesadilla. Get it with chicken. Get it with steak. Cheese core in the center. It's like, what's wrong with them? What the hell happened?
Yeah.
And I loved that there was no reveal until much later in the movie. Like, you made me sit on that. You didn't just hand feed me. You said, you don't get to know yet. You don't deserve it. And then as the movie progresses along, like only hints are dropped until the reveal of the dangerous brain aneurysm on the most powerful fucking mind in the MCU.
Yeah.
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 That shit was cataclysmic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, God, and like, if the movie wasn't heartbreaking enough, like, and that's the other thing, is like I said earlier about watching all three of these movies back to back to back, is that there's very few happy moments for this man.
Yeah.
I mean, very few.
His life is that of a tragedy.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it absolutely is. And with Professor X, man, like, when he reveals who he thinks is Wolverine, but actually at 24, that
the most perfect night.
Yeah, it was the most perfect night. And then he goes on to say, I know what I did back in and it was it was heart tugging. And then you see Wolverine put the hand on what you think is a hand of comfort.
Yeah.
And then the other hand is definitely not.
And then the other hand is definitely a closed fist. Yeah.
The hand of death.
Yeah. That fucking hurt, dude.
Oh yeah, man. I wanted to ask you, like, what did you think the first time you saw that?
Dude, my eyes got a little wet.
Like, I was floored, but I was like, what the fuck? I was like, is this a dream sequence? Like, what just happened?
Like, I didn't full on cry and shit, but like in the middle of the monologue, I was just like realizing, oh fuck, dude, that's heavy shit. And then the claws came out of nowhere. It just like took me away, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was in my own like little mind at that point. I was not in the theater watching a big screen. I was just like,
yeah,
just gone. Yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Dadgum great, dude.
Yeah.
Real quick, I know we're probably in wrap up mode here pretty quickly. I gotta ask you though, in all however many times I've watched this movie now, there's one thing I've never fully been able to understand. The scene shortly thereafter, when Logan and X-23 or Lauren are trying to get away, and they successfully do, and they're out in the woods, and they finally bury Charles Xavier in this makeshift grave out in the middle of nowhere. Logan tries to say words at the graveside, and he gets caught up.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful scene. It is another heart wrencher.
One of the best acted scenes in the movie.
It really is, dude. It literally takes a fist and just squeezes at that heart muscle, watching this tough man just on the verge of breaking down, not being able to verbalize emotion. And he keeps saying, "There's no water."
Mm-hmm. There's no water.
What is the rest of that? What is he saying? Because he tries twice.
It's an answer to Charles's last word about him wanting to be on the boat, and it's Logan saying,
"Yeah."
It's Logan getting choked up because he feels like
that's true. The Sunsetter were the last words of Charles Xavier on the back of the truck as Logan was trying to carry him out, exclaiming, trying, begging him to understand it wasn't me. And that's heavy shit, dude. I mean, imagine the fucking guilt in Wolverine where he's like, no. I know he looks like me. No. It's just like, you weren't prepared for that shit.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it was heavy.
Yeah, dude.
Really, really heavy. Yeah. And so that's my best interpretation of that.
I mean, that's a good one. That's a good one. I hadn't thought of that one. Fuck, man.
Yeah. And then, we also, like, I said this as a joke, but it was actually quite serious. Like at the dinner scene, which was also phenomenal. I said, and that's the last time Wolverine ever fucking smiled.
Actually, that was a note I wrote. You can count on one hand how many times he smiles in this movie.
Yeah.
By the way, the answer is twice. It is genuinely twice. You can see him smirk, and I'll give you a third one for those of you who are hypercritics, and that's cool. They exist. That's all right. But genuine smiles, twice.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of smiling, feel good moments here.
There are not. The movie advertises itself to be the last, the end, the tragedy, and it delivered.
If I could, if I could be honest here, like I think, because I haven't given this any thought until now, but I would put money on my personal favorite scene, or maybe even collection of scenes, being the entire little mini arc with the family. Like that, all of that encompassed is definitely my favorite chunk of the movie.
That's such a great chunk of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, it has layers and complexity.
The house and fed them, and you just realize they're good people, and they're dealing with some digbags who also own property near their land. And
isn't it funny how much we loved that side story, even though it had very little to do with the overarching? Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were saying, yeah.
And it's such this picturesque, perfect family that we see here, this nuclear family, and then we see them literally get ripped apart. And the dad, the father, the husband, he gets one last heroic moment. He saves Logan and fucking drives X-24 and impales him. Gets a couple of shotgun slugs in his face, and then turns around and raises the shotgun to Logan. And there's nothing else in it, and he falls. That's so poetic and powerful. He
pulls the trigger. Yeah. Like he had the intent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there was nothing left. And like that speaks volumes. That's
scarring.
So much. Yeah.
I mean, the survivor there, Wolverine, walked away from that knowing he intended to hurt me. He intended to, and he knew that it was his impact on the life that made him want to do that.
Yeah.
That sucks, dude. That's just another baggage. That's another weight.
It's like Wolverine said, like you have to learn to live with it. Like it doesn't matter if you hurt good people or bad people. You have to learn to live with it.
Yeah.
Because it is essentially in a roundabout way Wolverine's fault as to why that carnage was brought to that family's front door.
No, that's exactly true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And jokingly enough, to kind of lighten the mood a little bit here, the dinner rule. So in these past movies, guys, for instance, another great example, X-Men Origins Wolverine. He runs into the barn naked. This nice old couple befriends him and clothes him and feeds him. We learned Q&I an observation that anytime Logan sits with you at the dinner table and you accept that, you're going to die, and you're accepting your death. Because anytime he eats with you, he dines at your table, you already wrote your fucking death script. You're done. All right. Yeah. You taken it out. You accepted that. Because the old family gets gunned down. They get killed. Mm-hmm. Oh, guess what happened to this cool family here in Logan? They get gunned the fuck down. And Logan knew that.
Yeah.
He knew the dinner rule. Right. And Charles was like, no, let's eat dinner here. And Logan's like, nah, bro, I know they're going to die if I do this. There you go.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah, and that is very true. That's legit a rule here with these Wolverine movies, man. Like, you know, if you take nothing else from this episode, guys, is that never invite Wolverine into he's like a vampire. You don't invite a vampire into your home. You don't invite Wolverine into your home either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael was the only survivor of the rule. And I think because that was lunch, not dinner.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The whole, like, he stabs the chopsticks. Chopsticks. Wow. Why am I tripping up on that? Into the rice bowl. To be fair.
Her entire family was killed. So, I mean, you're just better off not having Wolverine in your life. That's the moral of the story.
He comes knocking on your door. We need help.
Nope.
Close the door. I know who. I know. Can't even say it.
Oh,
that's great. So one last thing, and then I'll be out the tank. I'm out of gas because we've been talking a long time now. But granted,
2 hours. Yep.
2 hours for 3 movies. I say we're doing pretty good. Yeah. We normally spend hour and a half on one,
right?
But I loved his last words, dude. They sit with me. There are times I've reflected on that shit to just be my own personal resolve again. You know. You don't be what they made you.
Yeah. Those are powerful words.
Yeah. I mean, that was such a great, simple sentence synopsis of a lot of the track that Wolverine has lived through.
Yeah.
He was made into a soldier. He was eventually made into a fucking weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually he was made and forced and coerced into fighting for this cause and protecting this one. And that's
his entire life was haunted and hunted.
Yeah.
To be weaponized, to be taken, to be used.
And so I think that it was more than fitting. It was perfect for his last, wisdom, his last little nugget of knowledge to give to Lauren as she sat there, the heart he was holding there, a little nod to the Wolverine death prediction from Yukio. You don't be what they made you. And that shit shook, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what happens in my own headcanon. In my own headcanon, like, those kids ran off and they meet up with Alpha Flight. And then
the actual Alpha Flight. Yeah. But here's the thing, and I gotta steal a comment you made years ago that I'm gonna say now, but I gotta give you credit for it. I love that the movie stopped there.
Yeah.
Like it didn't fuck around and say that the movie continues on. No, Wolverine died.
Yeah.
That's the story.
The
kids move on. We hear the oldest kid, the sidekick one who had
Richter, I thought was the oldest one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever his fucking name was, I don't know. But he's speaking with a lady over the intercom at that little plateau desert station that they're all camped at, all these kids. He's talking to a lady, a grown lady voice. We will never know who that was.
Yeah.
I mean, theory-wise, Alpha Flight makes a lot of sense. A cool Canadian super team. Fuck yeah, I love that. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because the story was Wolverine, and now he's gone.
Right. Yeah. This was his story. This is.
Now, granted, that'd be another great story.
Oh yeah.
But a separate one.
Really quick, we'll talk about this for just a second, then we'll wrap up.
Sure.
They took a huge gamble with X-24.
Why do you say that?
This is a non-canonical thing that, in a lot of people's mine included, like if you just explain X-24 to me, I would tell you that's a terrible idea. I would tell you go with Sabretooth.
Well, he was a one and done in the comics, wasn't he?
He wasn't in the comics. There is no X-24.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I thought he existed in like a couple of pages, dude.
No. And
really?
The only thing in the comics, like, because I trust me, I searched once I saw the movie, like, it's
sure
fucking X-24. The only thing I can find is that there was one comic where there was a clone of Wolverine, never referred to as X-24.
Okay.
But that's the closest thing I could find.
Okay. So, I remember a conversation like this prior, actually. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's why I said, like, they took a huge risk by going with X-24. It's like the main physical threat. But I thought that it was also so fitting that, Wolverine's last battle is he has to battle himself. He has to battle what he could have become, what they wanted him to be. Like, I thought that literally battling your own demons was such a cool and kind of poetic way to go out.
This was one of the best versions of the whole fight yourself that the superhero genre has done by far. Because we've seen it time and time again, and we've made those jokes about, like, Iron Man versus,
Ironmonger.
Yeah, so you get the point. But yeah, you're right. Like the symbolism behind it was dripping.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah.
But no, Logan is a phenomenal movie, man. Great movie. Really heart tugging and just full of so much goodness.
Yeah. I'm happy we got to end with it. We spoke about 3 movies tonight, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It was fun watching all 3 together.
It was.
I still enjoy watching Origins and the Wolverine just for the sake of it. Also, I'm a Wolverine fan. If anything, I'm gonna love them action scenes, son.
Right.
But you're right. The movie Logan, super dope, dude. That's always gonna be bread and butter, like top 5 for me, dude. Yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
All right. So guys, I do think that's all we have for now.
Yeah, I got everything. I'm good.
Yeah. So here's the cool thing, guys. Like if you're sitting at home, maybe if you're quarantined, don't have a whole lot to do, you can now go back and watch all 3 of these movies, and then be like, oh, I see what the homies meant here when they said this or that. Just something cool to do to pass the time, as well as, of course, listening to us and maybe even our back catalog. We got like over 300 hours of content.
Yeah, that's true.
I think over 400 hours of content, if I'm being honest.
Can I hear 450, 450, 500, 500, going for 525, 525? Wow, auctioneer voice. Wow, never gone auctioneer Kevin before. Yeah.
But yeah, so like during these times, obviously, we don't have our movie reviews to go to. By this point, we would have done New Mutants, which, can you believe it? Or actually, we'd be gearing up to do it, and like it'd be super wild. I think this Thursday we'd be doing New Mutants. But obviously that's not going to happen. We'd be gearing up for Black Widow, and in the summer we'll be gearing up for Wonder Woman. But for obvious reasons, these things won't come to pass quite at these times. So if you guys have any kind of questions, comments, gifts, food supplies, or suggestions for the podcast that you would like for us to talk about, please feel free to hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com or any of our social media outlets. We're always active, live, and listening.
Hell yeah. And to those homies who are looking for something to do and you still want to do something good, we'd appreciate some of your service by going to ratethispodcast.com/superherohomies. You can give us, preferably, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, a 5-star review. It will automatically fill in for where it's applied. Feel free to type up a little something as to why you love the homies, Remember, every review you leave gives us a smile from the podcasting gods. And in other words, guys, that reflects on us brightly so we can actually make this a hardcore future for all of us out there.
Absolutely.
Yes. Long live the homie nation. You guys are all part of it.
And that's at ratethispodcast.com/superhero homies.
For those in the back who didn't hear it.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, guys, hit up the Patreon page. It's all there. We got so much content for you. We got a lot of shit. Come on board.
Yeah, and we got some cool shit coming too.
Oh yeah.
So definitely, guys. $1. Actually, at this point, guys. $1 typically gets you all of you listening. $3 gets you everything we just mentioned, and it also gives you access to our video game reviews, TV shows reviews, and more.
Hell yeah.
And that's just $3 a month. You guys could access to all of that, or $1 a month, and you guys could access to some of it. Either way, you guys help us out, and that really is appreciated. So thank you.
Either the price for a pack of gum or the price for a Coke. All right, man. I got it. I got love for you guys. Thank you guys so much for participating. I'm good to go, my man.
Absolutely. Well, until next time, guys, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
And as always, I am Superhero Homie Kevin.
Deuces.
And to those of you watching, thank you guys for clicking in and watching and or just listening with the video in the background. We appreciate that too. Feel free, if you haven't already, to smash that subscribe button. Your boys would love it. Again, that supports us and gives us so much attention on the podcasting market. So that would be greatly appreciated forever, and thank you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, brother. Anything else you want to say to the video homies out there?
Get money, fuck bitches.
I was waiting for it, Tag. I knew you were going to say that. All right, guys. Peace.